Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Action Comics 141, Luthor's Secret Weapon. We've really entered a new era of Superman, and that's not just because we've entered the 1950s, but we've entered this era where heat vision has started to exist and is appearing in almost every issue. It's not really heat vision, it's the radiation from his X-ray vision heating things up. But that will be delineated over time that it's just heat vision and not Superman poisoning us with his radioactive eyes. And Kryptonite, which has shown up once. And of course, Kryptonite's kind of a danger when it comes to a Superman story because it can just be like a crutch. Like if you ever watch Smallville, how often a villain would randomly have Kryptonite on them, like specifically in a watch or something, so he'd be weak for a small amount of time, and maybe luckily, or he would figure out a way to get rid of the Kryptonite item. But we've entered this era of Superman. So here we get Luthor, who's looking surprisingly like Telly Savalas. I mean, I guess that's not surprising seeing they're both bald white men, but he really feels like Telly Savalas in this issue. So Luthor's up to something and he kidnaps Lois to make Superman go out and collect the things he needs. They're all really rare, like dust from the dark side of the moon, which technically isn't it all the dark side of the moon? It's just more or less just when you're looking at the moon, like where it is in its rotation. Once all these items are collected, it turns out that Luthor's secret weapon is in fact synthetic kryptonite. How does that work? Synthetic kryptonite is not glowing green, it's just clear. But yeah, Luthor apparently has found out about kryptonite and can just produce it. Though, actually, I do think he does make kryptonite later. I'm pretty sure synthetic kryptonite's still a thing. It's just like, nah, let's just find some real kryptonite. It gets weird if he can just produce it at will. Though I guess it would be very hard for him to do it, seeing that he had to get Superman to collect these items in the first place. And Superman could just save Lois most of the time. So with the synthetic kryptonite, he leaves Superman to essentially die or be in a weakened state. And this is where the heat vision comes in. He uses it to boil the chemicals that happen to be around in Luthor's lab, so the acid will escape and then melt through the floor so the kryptonite will fall. I mean, it's a fine idea of a story right now. It's not exactly all that exciting, other than Luthor has managed to weaken him through kryptonite. Where things kind of lose me is it doesn't have a very strong ending. It's not very Superman succeeding at something. It's all incidents and coincidence. Luthor, in disguise, walks by Clark with a synthetic kryptonite, and Clark passes out, well, falls to the ground. Everyone gathers around him. Luthor starts thinking that maybe Clark can be Superman. Oh no, his identity's in danger. So there's apparently a different stakes here. Because it didn't really feel like he was much in danger when he had him captive with the kryptonite, but now we have an actual stakes. I wish this would have been a thing halfway through the issue instead of the last 2 pages. But due to coincidence, when Luthor is not looking, the synthetic kryptonite is stolen by a pickpocket and he walks away. So Clark is fine and he takes Luthor out into prison. So Luthor no longer believes that Clark can be Superman, even though he is. And we are given the teaser that this synthetic kryptonite is going to come up again, literally in the next issue. So what I want from my superhero stories is my superhero overcoming things using his own abilities and learning something in particular or finding something out about himself. But specifically him overcoming something. And he doesn't really overcome the synthetic kryptonite. He doesn't really have a great idea to get away from it. He's just really lucky at the end. And that is not a satisfying ending. Maybe the second part, or kind of the second part, will have more of a satisfying ending. But I wouldn't hold your breath. Okay, that is it from Action Comics 141, Luthor's Secret Weapon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when new videos up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? And why didn't Luthor make a lot more synthetic kryptonite if he had Superman to collect these materials and pretty much all time to him? There was no time limit. He could have gathered so much more. Okay, have a great day.